Hi, this is Jimmy from Cherry Lake. Let's talk about pruning.
Pruning means cutting away dead or overgrown branches or stems. Depending on the type of plant, we may use different tools and techniques, but in all cases, pruning is intended to increase fruitfulness and growth. Once again, less is more. A little bit of pruning can be stimulating for the plants and promote healthy growth. However, too much pruning can cause undue stress and weaken the plants. Always prune with a purpose. When deciding what to prune, consider the needs of your garden and make a plan. The landscape designs for the Sunbridge community were created taking each plant's growth habits into consideration.
Let's talk about pruning perennials. Let me show you a few examples of what we should do.
We wanted to demonstrate how to cut back tropical sage. Typically it's done in spring and late, early fall, but you can do it midsummer. We have some examples of here that we've already pruned back about 3 weeks ago, just so we could get a flush. As you can see, they will start to get a little tall and leggy after being roughly about 8 months old. So we're just going to come back and find a node and just cut them right there at the nodes. And the nodes are pretty simple to find. You're just going to follow that stem up. You'll see that little bump. It was the old leaf margin, and you can just cut right there to 45, quarter inch above it. And they will break new growth out, usually in 2 or 3. Let's see if I can find an example of that here on some cuttings. You can see, hopefully there, where 2 or 3 came from where I cut it back. And that's as simple as it is, and you'll get regenerative growth and more blooms. So we're going to move in here on this starry rosin weed, and we're just going to cut it down here at the basal rosette. But we're going to leave this guy because it's still got a lot of new buds on it, and it's still blooming. We're just going to move over here to the next one. Same thing. It's just saving a lot of stored energy. Now, if you want to save seeds, you need to leave these on and wait till they dry out. But if not, just go ahead and cut anything that's dead down as close as you can. Let's talk about pruning trees. When pruning trees, you need to have a plan. Identify why and where you will make your cuts, and understand the proper way of cutting so the wound created will heal properly. There is an arborist rule when pruning trees called the 4 Ds: dead, dying, diseased, and decayed.
Removing branches is something that a lot of people can be intimidated by. We have links below to you at University of Florida that has the proper diagram on where to cut in the branch collar, and that's from the bark ridge, cutting down at about a 15-degree angle, staying within the branch collar. That just keeps it in the zone of the branch where the collar's at, where the meristem cells are that help repair and heal that. So just make a good clean cut, not a flush cut, and let it be, and it'll heal on its own.
When pruning shrubs, a pair of hand pruners is all you should need.
Pruning back native shrubs is a little bit different because the reason those shrubs were selected, especially in your community, was for their natural growth habits. That way you don't have to shear them, and they don't have that hard look. It has a natural look, and that's what we were going for. We want a little bit of soft edges, and I mean, there may be a sporadic wild sprout or, what they call a sucker, and just take your clippers and prune that back.
In this case, I am pruning back the wax myrtle plants that form the hedge between the garden and the side of the road. I just want to remove the excess growth extending out into the street. Again, less is more. There is no need to overdo it here. Just a small trim and you're done. Mowing is a form of pruning. When we mow ground covers, we are pruning them, creating many of the same benefits I have been discussing. At Sunbridge, the landscapes have been designed with very little to no turf. This helps to save water, reduce chemicals, and also reduce the amount of time and money spent on mowing the grass. The ground covers selected at Sunbridge only need to be mowed 4 to 12 times a year, depending on your preference. In this video, you can see me mowing the perennial peanut ground cover. As you can see, mowing ground covers is basically the same technique as mowing the grass. You just need to do it less often. Edging is also important to keep ground covers healthy and looking clean. You may choose to edge as often as every other week, depending on your aesthetic preferences. I like to use electric tools to reduce noise and carbon emissions. This electric edger works great and gets the job done.